Welcome back to Nuclear News. Let's dive right into what happened this week. Price action. We have the uranium spot ETF year to date so far up 12%. The SPY S&P 500 only up 8%. Again, we're seeing outperformance. So let's dive through the news of what is going on. In a vote of 489 to 36, the European Parliament has passed a resolution that calls for an immediate and full embargo on EU imports of fossil fuels and uranium from Russia and sanctions on Russia's nuclear company Rosatom. So what this does is severely constrict the supply of uranium in the West, because the vast majority of uranium comes from Russia. And so obviously incredibly positive for the price action of uranium and any producer who's pulling it out of the ground. Here is the math behind the supply-demand fundamentals, which came from this article. Uranium price expected to rise in 2023 on nuclear power revival. I think the principal factor is the change of public opinion in Japan with regards to the pace of Japanese restarts. The biggest source of new demand that you could have on the planet is from the 40 existing reactors, said Rick Rule, CEO of Sprott US Holdings. They don't have to be built, they just have to be restarted. That would raise the structural demand for uranium by between 10 and 12 million pounds a year. That's just Japan raising the demand by 10 to 12 million pounds per year. Well, at the end of the day, we consume about 190 million pounds a year. Currently, we dig out of the ground about 130 million pounds. So there's already a massive spread. They're talking about making that spread even more just from Japan by 10 to 12 million pounds. And so in the midst of all this, we have the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust taking supply off the market. Tide has definitely turned for Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, raising nearly 92 million in 6 consecutive sessions to stack over 1 million pounds, bringing total to over 61 million pounds locked away in perpetuity. So we know there's already a deficit. And we also know demand is skyrocketing because of the nuclear renaissance that is unfolding around the world, like in Japan. 10 to 12 million more pounds needed. And then you have Sprott Physical Uranium Trust taking 60.5 million pounds off. So this is where the rubber meets the road. Once the nuclear utilities start to contract and need another 190 million pounds per year going forward, where are they going to get it? They're going to have to pay more money for it. And so this is one of the main reasons we focus so much on the demand of uranium, the renaissance unfolding, because it's literally mushrooming. You have revolutionary technology like small modular reactors, increasing future demand estimates. And then you have countries that were never expecting to do a U-turn and go back to uranium, going into uranium in a huge way. So let's dive through what's going on around the world. Germany becomes unexpected supporter of nuclear revival amid energy crisis. Now, over 80% of Germans favor extending the lifespan of Germany's existing nuclear reactors. In unexpected swing, Germany's public now favors nuclear power. And to that, Elon Musk, one of the most successful entrepreneurs of all time, says they should keep them operating. So he agrees. Let's see if the rest of the world agrees that we need more nuclear energy. So France ready to compete for new build project with EPR 1200 reactor technology in Kazakhstan. So Kazakhstan's going nuclear. They seem just about ready to pull the trigger on France nuclear technology, which France has already said they want to export around the world. So there's just one country going nuclear. Korea proposes building 4 reactors for Turkey. Korea Electric Power Corporation has submitted a preliminary proposal to Turkey for the construction of 4 APR 1400 reactors at an undisclosed site in the northern part of the country. And so compounding this growing nuclear renaissance is the fact that countries want to invest in their own ability to produce infrastructure and export it around the world. So they're kind of pushing this technology on anyone who will accept it, which is a lot of different places. So you have governments subsidizing this growing demand. $2.7 billion China-designed nuclear plant launched in Pakistan amid energy crisis. It's the second unit at the Karachi power plant to use a Chinese-designed Hualeng 1 reactor. China financed the facility's expansion. The 1,100 megawatt capacity reactor will generate some of Pakistan's cheapest electricity as the country suffers nationwide power outages. And so again, countries, huge, powerful, wealthy countries exporting nuclear reactor technology all over the world to whoever is asking for it, just increasing the exponential growth of this space. And so we have to touch on small modular reactor technology because we are in the very early stages of it rolling out. People aren't factoring in the demand that this is going to cause for uranium inside the audacious plan to use 10,000 nuclear microreactors to wean the world off coal. Brett Kugelmass is the founder and CEO of Last Energy. Based on Kugelmass's open source design and using mostly off-the-shelf components, VGAS fabricated almost all the parts for a basic small light water reactor and crammed them into 9 shipping container sized modules. It took only 2 days to bolt them together. We're talking old-fashioned fission technology here, the kind that for decades has been used to generate energy by splitting uranium atoms apart. It's the opposite of nuclear fusion, which is how the sun generates energy, by fusing hydrogen atoms. For decades, fusion research has stalled because scientists could not coax more energy out of fusion reactors, and it took to trigger them. Recent breakthroughs show promise, but even in the most optimistic scenarios, commercial fusion is many years away. And so obviously it's always a good idea to follow the money. Who is investing in this operation? Who is funding this? Kugelmass aims to build 10,000 of these mini reactors worldwide, which sounds fantastical for a nuclear industry newbie who has so far raised just 24 million in venture capital. It's smart money though. 21 million came in a round led by Austin, Texas-based GigaFund, whose managing partner Luke Nosek was the first VC investor to back Elon Musk's SpaceX. So just one exciting development among many that we've been covering over the last weeks as the nuclear renaissance just continues to unfold.